Welcome back to Game Day Recap, Week 5 edition. We're bringing it back. The Chargers, once again, charging. Pete, tell us what charging is for those who were not with us last week.
It's when you start feeling good about yourself and they start playing well. At some point, you know it's going to happen. Something bad is going to go wrong, and something bad went wrong today.
Yeah, a lot went bad today when we look at this matchup and how it went against the Commanders. Obviously, Jayden Daniels back behind center makes a big difference. But if we talk about the Chargers specifically, Pete, they couldn't get anything going post first quarter. They were shut out for the rest of the game after scoring 10 in the opening frame, and you obviously cannot get wins done that way.
Well, you know what happened? The defense of the Commanders decided they were going to attack Justin Herbert. The offensive line is down. No Alt, no Slater, and they decided, you know what, in the second half, we're going after him. And they went after him, and he turned the ball over. He made mistakes. He didn't play very well. He looked jumpy in the pocket. Then they fumbled. They just made a ton of mistakes in the second half. There was a play in this game in the first half where they had a punt return for a touchdown. But what happened? They roughed the punter. They go down, Washington goes down and gets a field goal out of that. Well, all of a sudden, you're in a game. And it shouldn't have been that way. The game should have been, you have a team on the West Coast playing back-to-back road games. If you get up in that situation, that game is over. They go home. They're packing the bags looking about going home. Well, it didn't happen that way, and they chargered. It's vintage chargering.
We talk about the Cardinals and if they're kind of our frauds this year, right, based on what they've seen. Rand, when you look at the Chargers, we were so excited about those first, 2-3 weeks of the season even. Did they kind of trick us to open, or are they just going through a rough patch? In your opinion?
I'm on the side of I think they kind of tricked us a little bit because, and I alluded to it earlier when I was talking about Dak, when I was like, we give him such a hard time, but we love Justin Herbert for what we think Justin Herbert can be. And you talk about numbers were efficient today from an attempt and passing completion standpoint, 22 of 29, but he threw for 166, so just 4.8 yards a pass. And like Pete said, Washington had 5 sacks. They weren't scared of him. They went after him, and they were able to get home. And so for me, I think the big thing with this football team, especially today, was that they gave up 163 yards on the ground, and they had 10 penalties. Like, that's not a Jim Harbaugh team. That's not who they are.
Yeah, a lot of people got it better than the Chargers do this week. Let's talk about the Lions, though. Big win over the Bengals. Jake Browning had no fun today on the football field.
Buddy.
He was struggling. But it's interesting, Damien, when we look at the Lions and the season they kind of had that hiccup against the Packers, but they've gotten right back on track with a lot of offensive firepower. But you kind of talked about the defense earlier kind of being a little bit of a concern. What do you think about this Lions team to this point after the win today?
I think they're offense heavy. I think that they rely a lot on the superstars on defense of Aiden Hutchinson, guys like Kirby Joseph. We've seen guys like Terry and Arnold struggle in coverage. And defensively, I just don't think they match the same intensity of the offense. Now, luckily, they do have a plethora, an embarrassment of riches, if you will, of talent on the offensive side of the ball. And those guys usually play like that. There's one star that they have that I'm looking forward to seeing them get going, and that is Jameson Williams, because as dynamic as he is, as the way that he can flip the game upside down with just his speed, something that you can't coach, you got to get this guy involved. And yes, you can beat a Cincinnati Bengals team that's got no Joe Burrow without him. But if you want to get to where you want to go, you got to get a guy like Jameson Williams going. And listen, I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's your old, reliable pickup truck. But I'll tell you this, if I got a Ferrari in the garage, I'm going to pull that thing out and let it ride sometime. So they need to get Jameson Williams going, not necessarily because they can't win without him, but they can't get to where they want to go and then finally get over that hump as the Detroit Lions. I don't think they can do it without him.
I'll say this, and I'll just be brief on it. I think this defense is built to play with a lead. I think that's what we see now. It's going to be, we'll get to see the real Lions when they're in a tough, duke it out matchup, and can the defense get the stops at that point, because otherwise they're so used to scoring points, getting explosive plays, and then now the defense can pin their ears back and attack versus you have to play it all out when you're playing, an evenly matched team. I think that's when we'll really see who this defense is.
2 quick things on the line or on this game. Jared Goff is playing at an MVP level, too. We don't mention him at all, but he is. He's putting up unreal numbers. Completion percentage is amazing. And 2, you said Jake Browning wasn't having much fun. He should be having a lot of fun. He's playing. I mean, the bottom line is he shouldn't probably be starting games right now.
I don't know.
He did not have any fun.
Well, he threw
today.
3 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
But you saw him on the side.
It wasn't very good.
Right?
He's going to be in a body bag soon if they don't start protecting him.
When your backup quarterback is starting in the NFL, you're dead. period.
You did say that the second Joe Burrow went out. You said
Yes.
the season was done.
Season's over.
So that is no surprise there. The Colts bounced back in a big way. Of course, everyone was a little concerned last week, but they get it done against the Raiders. I feel bad for Max Crosby because defensively he's doing everything for them. And it just doesn't matter. I wonder how much, Damien, our mentality is, I'm like looking at this picture of Daniel Jones. How much of that has impacted how well this Colts team has played?
Well, Daniel Jones is the key to success, and we didn't think that we were going to say this about Daniel Jones at any point in his career the way it started. One thing that I want to mention, and I'll keep this brief, and this kind of explains why Daniel Jones is so instrumental to their offense. He scored 40 points twice in 5 weeks with the Indianapolis Colts. You know how many times he did that with the New York Giants?
None.
0. And what's so important about it, when I watch the Colts play, these players, they trust Daniel Jones. I don't think we can say that when he was still in New York. There were a lot of rumbling about, oh, the guys don't like Daniel Jones. Oh, they want to switch a quarterback. Oh, they're not happy. The guys in Indianapolis, they love playing with Daniel Jones. They see what he can do, the talent that he actually has. He's putting it on display, and they're following his lead.
They like playing with Jonathan Taylor as well, Rand.
Hey, man, I screw up his name all the time because I always end up calling him Jonathan Stewart. So, Producer Jack, I'm Jonathan Taylor. 3 tutties on the ground today. Didn't have to have a phenomenal game in terms of stats and rushing, but did what this offense needed him to do. And, again, another efficient performance from Daniel Jones, 20 of 29, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns, didn't turn the ball over. So he's only got 1 game so far this year where he's turned the ball over. And this is a good, well-rounded Colts football team.
They have scored on 65% of their drives this season. That's the highest by any team through 5 games since at least 2000. So he's got them cooking in the right way. On the opposite side of this one, Pete, Geno is doing the complete opposite. He leads the league in interceptions. It's like someone telling that they are the team in black and silver out there, Pete.
5 in the last 2 games. I mean, it can't happen, Geno. You're just not playing. Now, one of them was tipped at the line of scrimmage, but you still have to be able to take care of the football, and they're not taking care of the football. And again, when the Raiders got him, what they say, we have our guy, right? We have our guy. Again, the questions now are out there. Do they have their guy for the long term? He is playing shorthanded. There were a lot of guys out of the lineup today, but bottom line is Geno better pick it up, or this is going to be a really long season. He might not be the starter going forward.
I was going to say, do you see Kenny Pickett's the backup?
Not
do you
now.
see a change?
Not now. Kenny Pickett's not going to change that. No, I'm talking about.
It's just like firing your head coach. It ain't going to do much.
It ain't going to do anything.
All right, we'll leave that there. I do want to wrap up this conversation by talking about the Giants because we were so enamored at what Jackson Dart was able to do last week. The headlines where the Jackson Dart era has begun, and yet Spencer Rattler comes out and picks up his first win on the season. He is the first Saints quarterback to be drafted by that organization and win a game since 1998. Danny Werfel did it. So it is a big deal for the Saints.
Danny Werfel, go Gators.
We want to give the Saints their flowers, so we'll go 2 parts. Pete, what did you think of the Saints? And then I'll let you guys handle the Giants.
Look, Spencer Rattler did some good things today. He threw for 225 yards. He handled the game. And, you know, we went into that game thinking, okay, the Giants' defensive front's going to get after him and they're going to pressure him into mistakes. He didn't make the mistakes. He was the better quarterback today. Jackson Dart is incredible with his legs today. What do you have? 7 carries for 55 yards? But he's also taking off too quickly. And that's a problem for young quarterbacks. You got to go stand in there and go through your progressions. And then, of course, the Scatterboo fumble, that was a backbreaker. I mean, it changed the whole complexion of the game. You can't have that happen. And we've been seeing so many fumbles lately.
And here's the thing. We can confidently say that Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterboo, those are going to be the 2 guys on offense that they want to build a culture around. As young guys, again, I feel like I'm a broken record at this point. You have to understand that ball security is job security. Jackson Dart running, scrambling with the football, careless. He had one hand on it, swinging around like a loaf of bread. What happens? It just slips out of his hand, and it's a fumble. Cam Scatterboo, again, he's been a great addition to this offense. He brings a toughness and a grit that they haven't seen in a long time. But when you give the ball up, you become invaluable as a player. And I'm not saying Cam Scatterboo is invaluable. He's not. But when you can't take care of the football, you become an invaluable resource. And that's not what these 2 guys want to become because, quite frankly, they are the future of the New York Giants.
By the way, no sacks. None for the New York Giants. 0. All that
Bad.
capital and draft capital and cachet and money they put on that thing, nothing. They got
Bad.
0 sacks tonight.
I'm going to keep it simple. 3 of 10 on 3rd down, the Giants were. 5 turnovers. And the Saints were able to capitalize and score 12 points on those 5 turnovers. I don't care what you think about a team and their record. When you're on the road with a rookie quarterback and you got a rookie runner and you turn the ball over 5 times and you're not converting third down and the other team is taking those turnovers and scoring points off of them, that's a recipe for a loss.
The Giants are the first team in nearly a decade with a turnover on 5 straight drives. I'll give you one guess who the team to do it before was.
The Giants.
No.
Cardinals.
No.
Bucks.
Jets. We got to go to break.
I was close.
You were
It was
close.
close. It was close.
It was the Jets. And speaking of the Jets, we're going to talk about the Jets and Breece Hall and all of these guys who just can't seem to keep the football in their hands. You ask for a demo, you get a demo from our running backs on the other side.